What's going on, everybody? This is your host for Not For Long Media and the Colin Thompson Show. Hope everyone's doing great. Lots going on in the world of sports. Lots going on in the world today. Some good, some bad, some crazy, some fun. First off, I hope everybody has an awesome 4th of July, an awesome upcoming weekend here, a big part of the summer. Please be safe. Please avoid fireworks and the things that could go wrong with fireworks. I'm not going to make a joke about that. But no, we're really excited for a lot of things coming here at Not For Long Media, at the Colin Thompson Show, several of our shows. Some things will be coming out over the next couple of days of what to expect, what's next, who's joining us. So I hope, like I said, by the end of the summer, we're going to have 2, 3, 4, 5 different podcasts now, Not For Long Media, not just us and Breaking Bad. So some really fun things to report. And like I said, we're really excited for what's next. So today, what's next on our docket? Taylor Cummings is joining us. Absolute stud, arguably the greatest women's lacrosse player of all time. They're competing in the 2022 World Lacrosse Women's Championship, formerly the World Cup. It's happening in Towson, Maryland. The first game starts Wednesday, June 29th. We are recording on the 28th. This will come out tonight. So if you're listening tomorrow, Wednesday, you're going to be hearing this for the first time that, yes, the first game is tomorrow night, Wednesday, June 29th, or tonight, I should say, for you guys listening on the actual 29th. It's at 7 p.m. They play Canada, who's their biggest rival, the team they play the most. You'll hear Taylor talk about Canada and several teams that are in the World Cup at 7 p.m. on ESPN too. So make sure you check them out. Like I said, Taylor's Tourton winner 3 times in a row, which is the Heisman Trophy of lacrosse, and she won it for obviously the women's side, and she's competing in the World Cup, something that's been delayed. The Women's Lacrosse World Championships have been delayed for quite some time now. It's been a year because of COVID, so this is their 5th year. You're here, Taylor referenced that they've been waiting 6 years for this. There's 30 teams in 30 nations in this lacrosse championship. So everybody from Wales to Italy to Austria to Argentina to U.S., Canada, Czech Republic, Korea, Latvia, Mexico. So it's a really cool thing. It's great that it's in the Mecca of lacrosse here in this area, in Towson and a few other fields and stadiums around that area. So there's a lot to offer if you're in the area and you want to go to the game. There's carnivals and festivals and all things that have to do with that event. So check that out. And we're really excited to have Taylor come on. But we're going to get into a few things here before we get on with Taylor. First, I want to talk about our friends of the original Fudge Kitchen. Jack, I was in K-May this weekend. You were down the shore a couple weeks ago. Man, there's nothing better than that fresh fudge from Fudge Kitchen. I happened to be backstage there where they were whipping up the fudge, and they're talking to me about all the different temperatures they cook at and how they clean everything and process everything, how everything's pure, and the types of sugars they use and just the type of quality product they use. I knew they used great stuff, but to hear them talk about it and the pride that these fudge makers have, there's about 8 to 10 fudge makers. That's all they is. And they make all the fudge fresh that day in the back. This isn't something that's shipped in. But it was pretty cool to talk about the shipping process. They literally make the fudge fresh. They take the shipping from the fresh fudge, put that in the box, USPS, boom, right to your door. FudgeKitchens.com. Check them out. Shipping fudge and sweet treats across the country. So there's nothing better than Fudge Kitchen fudge, guys. That's really awesome. The summer, the sweet treats, the saltwater taffies, everything's fresh, made locally. When it comes to the chocolates and the saltwater tafflies. And then again, the fudge is made fresh right now, so you can't beat it. You cannot beat it. I got to try a couple of different things. Jack, I also passed along a couple of your comments, a couple of your thoughts about maybe changing, darkening the tint of the peanut butter. So people aren't thrown off between the vanilla and the peanut butter. Let's just say people to be were impressed. So anybody who's out there listening and has any questions, comments, concerns about the fudge, just reach out to us. I'll put you in contact with the people to be, and they can help you with anything you need. So again, you want to ship fudge across the country? You cannot beat that fudge in the summer and the holidays. FudgeKitchens.com.
I didn't realize how blessed we were. I mean, the Fudge Kitchen has always been a Connell mainstay. Every time we would go to Ocean City during the summer, we'll always hit it. The tradition is the last day we hit it, and then we have it for when we come back for the next several days. We'll preserve it. And it's almost like it's almost like how Philly is soft pretzels. Like you leave and it's like there's some soft pretzels, other like cheesesteaks, they're not as good. And then it's like that with the fudge. It's just like I didn't know how good I had it with the Fudge Kitchen until I tried some other place. I'm like, this isn't as good as the other place that I've been to. And it's just now Fudge Kitchen is just the best. It's truly
It is
a
best,
special
man. The
treat.
original Fudge Kitchen. Check out their social medias. They just kill it. They do a great job. And they're just locals down the Jersey Shore, great people. Just awesome to be able to connect and go backstage with what they've got going on there because it was just it's such a cool experience. So next time you're in town, take a picture of that fudge. Send us a picture of the box of fudge you're eating or working on or where you're eating it at, if it's on the beach or the car ride home from the shore. And again, you don't have to stop by the shore to get it. You can get it anywhere you need it. So fudgekitchens.com. They'll ship it to you. Thank you to them. We appreciate your belief in us here at Not For Long Media and the Colin Thompson Show. Okay. So yes, Taylor Cummings is coming up again. 3-time Tewaaraton winner, the Heisman of women's lacrosse. She's coming on. They open up Wednesday night against Canada, 7 p.m. If you can't make it, we'll be there. We'll be live in action, Jack. Wednesday, June 29th, we'll be there 7 p.m. It's on ESPN too, so check it out. All right, Jack, there's a few things that have happened between this is our last show. Obviously, the NHL playoffs have come to an end. Obviously, that's something that's near and dear to my heart. I wanted to see Game 7. I think everybody else wanted to see Game 7. I think a lot of people wouldn't be upset if both teams won. Tampa, you get to continue the legacy and write in the history books, even though winning back-to-back's amazing. 3 in a row puts you in a whole nother category, and they were really close to winning. I just think with Point and a few other people being out for Tampa, not as high-powered as they needed to be to compete with the team in Colorado, and that takes absolutely nothing away from Colorado. They're missing players too. So props to the Avalanche on winning the Stanley Cup. They went all in to win the Stanley Cup. They have the high-end talent. They have the talent in between. They have the guys at the bottom of the roster that can get it done. They have timely goaltending, and they went out and traded for Kemper, who was solid all the way through. They have a solid backup, and they really built it the right way. This is a team that Matt Duchene not too long ago said, I want to be out of this organization 5-6 years ago because they were that bad, or maybe it was 4 years ago. They were that bad. And for them to make the run they have, the team they have, for the veterans to stay on and stick on like a Landeskog, a guy that's been there forever, was there when they were the worst team in the NHL, and it's right where the Flyers are. And I make the comparison back to the Flyers, and I'm a huge Flyers fan. It's no secret on the show. I went through the Flyers roster today as I was listening to a podcast. I love the Missing Curfew podcast. I'm a big Chicklets fan as well, obviously. But after I listen to the Chicklets episode, I go over to Missing Curfew with Scotty Upshaw, Shane O'Brien. And they were talking about the Flyers roster today, and I'm all over the place here, but they were just going through the roster, and they brought up great points. Think about all these teams that are in the playoffs. They have absolutely studs. They have all-stars. They have top 10 players in the league, if not 2 of them. So much as I want to say the Flyers need to turn things around, and I love the Torts hire, absolutely love the Torts hire. We have Jason Martinez come on right before the hire, talk about Torts or Trots. The Torts hire is an awesome hire. I know people are, hung up about it and a couple of different things, but the podcasts I listen to, the actual real reporting from the players, that they have nothing but great things to say about him. There's a couple players that are going to tweet this and that he's not the greatest and blah, blah, blah. But every player that's a pro and is mature, and they love playing for him. So I'm excited for that opportunity. I think they need to go out and get affordable veterans to make themselves competitive. But do they have any young pieces that are really that great other than Carter Hart? They have 0. So we'll see what happens. Provorov needs to step up. The Flyers, I need to get back talking Stanley Cup, but it's hard not to talk about the Flyers and how frustrating it is because there's literally nothing in the cupboard to give up. They passed on the greatest defenseman in the NHL right now in Cal McCarr. So, and drafted Nolan Patrick, who I think was the right pick to take. He was the number 2 player. I think McCarr went 3rd or 4th or 5th, somewhere after the Flyers, took a pick. So 4 or 5 teams passed up on him, not just the Flyers. But he's changing, everything. The guy won the Conn Smythe. He won he won just about everything, and he won the Stanley Cup. So props to Kel McCarr. Props to the Avalanche. I was bummed by Lightning. Again, I'm a person that supports the Lightning. I was down there in the XFL. I got to be around kind of that team from afar and kind of watch what they do, see how good they are. I like John Cooper. I like the coach. They're going to be back again. Why not? They have the goalie. It's like 29 years old. They have the players. They have the pieces. So we'll see. And again, no income tax in the state of Florida. So there's guys who can go there, make a minimum. That's like making double, $2 million. Say if the minimum's a million, they're making $2 million. Say if they played in Canada or a high tax state like a California, New York, Buffalo. So we'll see what happens. That's my comments, Jack. I'm bummed the Lightning did not force it Game 7. It was a tough game, 2-1. I think there was some refereeing down the end there. There was a little suspect going towards the Avalanche's way. So that stinks. It also stinks that the first game, that other game, there were 6 men on the ice when the goal happened for an overtime for the Avalanche to win. So, Tampa could have tied that series up and we would have had 7 games, which is kind of a bummer. But again, probably one of the better NHL seasons. RA, who's come on the podcast and talked about that. RA is an absolute stud. He talked about it as one of the best NHL seasons he's ever seen. You guys watch a lot of hockey. So I went all over the place, Jack, per usual. But congrats to the Avalanche. The Lightning will be back better than ever. The Flyers have a huge decision to make, whether they're just going to tank or they're going to sign and go into the playoffs and try to compete with this high-end talent, because as of now, they're nowhere near these teams.
Is it also fair to give the Avalanche the fudged up moment of the week for dropping the Stanley Cup like 5 seconds into getting the cup?
Yeah, I think it is fair.
You see that?
We're going to give the fudged up moment of the week and then send a box of fudge to the people that have to fix the Stanley Cup, which is a really cool segment. Go look that up online, how they fix it and they engrave everybody's names. It's really unique. For those that aren't hockey fans, every single player and coach on that team get the cup for a day minimum to do what they want with it. Drink as many beers as you want out of it, have bowls of cereal out of it, have ice cream out of it, sink it to the bottom of your pool, bring your whole family over, bring the whole town over, have a parade. So it's a really cool tradition. It's the best trophy in sports, bar none. I think the Super Bowl needs to do something. Take a note. I don't care if you mimic it, but find a way. Even though the Super Bowl trophy is awesome, don't get me wrong. I've seen one. There was one in our locker room the other day, a couple weeks ago. It's incredible. It was goosebumps for me. Really was, Jack. But the bottom line is there's nothing like that Stanley Cup. I think there was a video of LeBron James the other day when he walked by it, and he was just like, oh, boy, it's a Stanley Cup. Like, right, he plays in the NBA. He's won millions of championships or whatever he's done. And he walks by that cup, and he's still in awe.
I mean, I think the NBA is actually starting to take a book out of the Stanley Cup as well with their new trophy. They're starting to do like the rings and the engravements of the teams at the bottom of the trophy. They did. I think this year was their first year of Golden State. So I don't know if they're adding rings like continuous like the Stanley Cup has and then replacing them out. But they're starting to take a book out of the Stanley Cup's playbook there with the engravements.
Why not? It'd be cool as heck for the NFL to do it. Pound for pound, probably the bigger and stronger humans playing in the NFL than the NHL. Just, I guess it's just fact. I mean that respectfully to the players in the NHL. So I think we can handle a big trophy as well. Yeah. Those guys toss that thing around. It's like 50 pounds.
Oh my God, it's massive. But the thing is, though, I feel like, if you try to engrave all 53, I feel like if you had to get all 53 players, all 10 practice squad or 11 practice squad guys, that thing will be a size of a Stanley Cup trophy just after one season. Like, it won't take multiple seasons to get that many rings. That's the impressive part of it.
Well, let's do it. It's the number one sports team in the world. It's the number one sports, business in the world, up there with the Premier League and the NBA. So I don't know, find a way to do it. That's my pick. Roger Goodell, we need a bigger trophy. PSA. So I don't know. Anything else in the NHL playoffs? I think it's fantastic. Again, we had game 7s, we had sweeps, we had probably the team that was meant to win it, but with some drama along the way. So another great season in the NHL.
Of course, it was fun to watch and finally become invested a little bit in hockey for the first time in a bit. I'm sure hopefully it'll carry back over the start of next season.
It will. And like I said, I'm really concerned about the Flyers. They have no cap space. They have nobody to give up. They don't really have a ton of young end premier talent. For them to acquire more talent, they're going to have to trade people and give draft picks because their players are not coveted. So they'd have to get players off the books. It's a big business and a lot of struggling. Okay, let's keep it moving so we can get everybody the Taylor Cummings interview. Okay. A major move in college football. Not NAL, folks. Yes, we exhausted NAL, and we'll continue to talk about that. We are talking Arch Manning. Arch Manning, folks. The biggest saga around a high school athlete ever because of who his parents, who his uncles are, who his grandparents are. Arch Manning commits to play football at the University of Texas. He says, if you know, you know. Get your horns up. For those that are not fans, it would be horns down, like my father-in-law, who's definitely not happy about this commitment, who's an LSU fan. He absolutely hates Texas, and the whole Dupree clan does not. My in-laws and my wife, we are not Texas fans. I am, Switzerland here. It's a whole other beast. I'm not from Texas like they are, but I'll say this: this is the best thing to happen to college football. The best thing. There's a few reasons why. One, visibility, period. Texas takes over the entire country. It takes over the entire country. It connects the West Coast to the SEC. It connects the SEC to anybody that Texas is going to play out of conference. It connects everything. Obviously, Texas is now going to the SEC, so that's got to be a part of the recruitment and the nostalgia because his father, all of his father and his uncles all played in the SEC. There's a lot of juice behind that. His grandfather played in the SEC, so that's a big thing in the South. For those that don't know, the SEC could literally be like somebody from Philly playing for the Eagles. Like, that's it. Like, oh my God, you made it. That's the Mecca. That's the Mecca in the South, is playing in the SEC. My wife, Sydney, was one of the top lacrosse players in the state of Texas. She was getting recruited by Northwestern and Stanford and Florida. She went to Florida because she wanted to go to the SEC, and Florida has two lacrosse the SEC has two lacrosse teams. Vanderbilt women's and Gator women's lacrosse. That's it. No men's. So it was either go to Texas, go to TCU, go to A&M, go to, she got recruited by Duke for lacrosse, or go to Florida. There was no other choice. So it was like school or go play lacrosse in Florida, and she had a great career in Florida. Played against Taylor Cummings a ton in Maryland. So I digress, but the SEC is huge. It is Mecca in the South. So they're from Louisiana. Texas is not very far from there. Obviously, they can get there. They have the finances, I would guess. I don't want to speak. But they have the finances to get the games, but they're going to play games at LSU. They're going to play games at A&M. They're going to play games at Oklahoma. They're going to play big-time games. Texas now is the number one brand in college football when they're rolling, period. Hate to say it, but they're the number one brand in college football. When Texas is rolling, they're got to be number one, right? Top five.
I mean, it is phenomenal what Texas has put together, because you look at Texas's roster and you could legitimately, I'm not saying it's without a doubt, I'm saying there is a debate that Arch Manning might not even be the best QB on his roster when he steps in there. He's got Quinn Ewers. He reclassified, but he's technically 1 year older than Arch at this point. He should be a freshman this season, number 1 or number 2 QB in his class. They've got another number 2 QB, I think it's like somewhere number 2 or number 4 QB in their class, also part of that team. And an SEC transfer, I think, is 2 years out from this point, or is it 1 year now from this point for Texas?
Well, I think it's all moving up. I don't know if it's declared yet. I know the American Athletic Conference, UCF, Cincinnati, and Houston are all leaving after next season.
Okay.
So they're all paying money to get in there quicker, right? So I'm assuming 1 year, boom, he's going to be playing. You need to redshirt him.
Yeah.
You have to. Just to get him organized. Here's another thing that people don't understand. Awesome college football, great. It's worth the sacrifice. You're going to make a lot of money. He won't be able to go to class. He will not go to class. Like Tim Tebow did not go to class at Florida. He had tutors come to his classroom. Now he'll take everything virtually. So Arch Manning literally will never step foot in a classroom in Texas. I would be shocked if he does. We're going to keep a tracker on that, Jack. We're going to send you down to Austin, but he will never be able to go to a grocery store. He will never be able to go to a bar. He'll never be able to, I'm not saying encouraging underage drinking. He won't be able to go to, again, I'm not encouraging underage drinking, folks, but he'll never be able to go to an establishment in Austin. He'll never be able to go to a restaurant. He'll never be able to go to a grocery store. So I know it doesn't matter, and everyone turns their TV on and they want to see the kid go out there, perform and play. But he is picking that place to solely play and win and go to the NFL. There's no hiding, especially that city. So
talk about right now. You even talk about storylines. This is one that just came to me now. The rise of Texas. What's the other big dormant powerhouse that is now suddenly back on the rise out in the Pac-12? USC. You've got all of that. Caleb Williams now taking the step up, potential Heisman leader, number 1 overall pick in the future. I mean, talk about 2 historic college football cornerstones coming back with Bama still on top, Clemson, Georgia, all of these teams still in the mix. It is just college football is at a whole other level going in this season. I think there's so much excitement for the first time. I would say in a while, but it's definitely the most excitement's been around it for a good time.
The thing in sports now, every offseason becomes more exciting. We have no idea what's about to happen in the NBA. To me, the NBA offseason is way more fun than the in-season. There's going to be trades. Kyrie opts in today. He's going to be traded. All these guys are going to be traded. There are going to be all these new landing spots right before football season always starts. It's like, boom, right in the middle of training camp. This guy traded here. That guy traded there. This guy got drafted here. He got flopped here. So every offseason, to your point, becomes the next exciting thing. It really does. And it's not because, that's just what's hot. It's because it's fact. Like people are being more creative now in the business of sports. They're more creative now with salary cap. Guys are getting moved, traded, shifted because people now see they go all in. They're going to win a championship or you're going to be in the finals or whatever. Look at Golden State, way over the luxury tax. Great. I think it's the Kroenke family. They won a championship with the Rams. They won a championship with the Avalanche. Both teams that went all in. So that's an owner saying you can go all in. I don't care what it costs. So expect that. I think they created the indoor lacrosse league. They also team they own is in Colorado. They won that too. So more teams are going to go in. That's all I have to say. And I'm talking about that across all sports. But a team like Texas is going all in. My whole point to bringing this up too is they've landed. Let's see how many people they've landed. Okay, this is from the New York Post. Texas is back on the trail at least since landing a commitment for the coveted 5-star quarterback Arch Manning on Thursday. Longhorns have been beneficiaries of a recruiting surge. A whopping 7 prospects have committed to Texas in the wake of Manning's announcement. 7. And what is that? 4 days?
Yeah, it's been literally not even a week.
So 2 guys a day, just about. They'll probably get another transfer. I don't know if that's over. I have no idea. It's the summer. I guess it's too late. But they're going to get somebody. And the thing is, if the kid's good and hot, and there's good rumors out of it, kids will come slowly transferring into Texas again.
Plus with the NIL now making things and the new transfer rules making it very easy to switch. They could easily, if Arch just has a very, like if he starts this upcoming season somehow, which I don't think he will, and he just balls out with an okay roster surrounding him, they'll be gunned up by his sophomore year, just transfers, all the top transfers. Like, oh, I want to go Arch with my QB. He's going to rise my draft stock.
Look at what Joe Burrow and those guys did at LSU.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every single receiver, every single offensive lineman, every running back, and their backups are all in the NFL. They're all good players. We play with some. I play with 2 of them, Terrace Marshall and Stephon Sullivan. Sullivan's a great NFL tight end. He's a great wide receiver in college. He barely played there. And he still got drafted in the 7th round. So, yeah. I mean, he played, don't get me wrong, but I mean, it wasn't like Jamar Chase running around out there. This is a depth his team has. So that's what LSU had. I could imagine Texas with the NIL money, the deepest pockets in college football. They have to.
Oh, yeah.
To put in perspective, folks, from the rumors I hear about Texas, their facility, they have their own fragrance. It's a custom fragrance. You walk through the place, it's a smell you've never smelled before. That's what I heard. Now, you can look it up. I'm sure you can find it online, too. It's not like it's some hot take or some random rumor.
Disney World? Like how you step in Disney World and smells like vanilla? Is it just like they got their own, like...
Yeah, they do.
Fragrance?
Texas football is their own thing, and they have more money than God. So, props to Texas football. As much as I know some people are like, don't like Texas or like Texas, whatever, it's great for college football. In the world we live in today with NIL and all this stuff that a lot of people disagree with, Arch Manning going to Texas is absolutely massive for college football. If you're a network, if you're a market, and Texas is joining the SEC, ESPN's got to be so happy about that commitment. So I digress. We talked a little NHL playoffs. We talked a little NBA. Sadly, we talked a little. No, I'm kidding. It was good to talk to NBA. I do love the NBA offseason. I think the Sixers have to be creative and fun. What are they going to do, Jack?
I don't think it's really going to be much. I think you've seen the most exciting thing they're going to do this offseason happen just now. It seems very predictable at this point. As much as you talk Kyrie Irving, it seems very likely he's just going to go. Nobody wants to. Here's the thing. Nobody wants to trade for Kyrie Irving because the white whale that'll follow him is Kevin Durant. And everybody would much rather put their assets towards Kevin Durant. And nobody wants with things Kyrie Irving not really being a full-time player with vaccines and stuff like that. They really aren't interested in paying him a $200 million contract for he might not play all 82 games every season. And then if they ship him all in, then there's Kevin Durant. They could have put all their assets to Kevin Durant. So it seems like everything's staying in Brooklyn. Zach LaVine's going to stay in Chicago. Bradley Beal's going to stay in Washington. There's going to be no real trades. The biggest splash I can expect from Philly is PJ Tucker on a 3-year, $30 million contract. That is probably about the biggest thing that's going to happen in Philly. And this alongside the James Harden extension, which will just be he'll opt into his player option, then get a 2-year max contract on top of that, round out to about a 3-year, $150 million deal to keep him around. It's only going to get worse, Colin. There's a new TV deal, and I think it's about 2 or 3 seasons.
It's good. I like guys getting paid. It's not going to get worse. It's going to get better, Jack. We are 4 guys getting paid. I'm for it. I hope everybody gets paid. I hope every guy gets paid and take care of your body. It's a brutal sport. It's a brutal commitment. Cash in, have your best year before you get paid for your contract, all that good stuff. We are a player-friendly podcast, folks. So a little bit of everything, a little bit of, again, we're talking women's lacrosse. We are so jacked to have Taylor Cummings on. Taylor has become a friend, legend in the lacrosse community. She's a teacher. She's a mentor. She's a coach. She's a player. Fantastic stuff. Check out our website. Check out our friends at the Fudge Kitchen, shipping fudge and sweet treats across the country, fudgekitchens.com. Again, shipping right to your front door, and then stop at the Jersey Shore on your way down, or while you're leaving, get some for the ride home. It is so fresh. It is so damn good. Okay. Canada, USA, Women's World Championship, Towson, Maryland, ESPN2, Wednesday night, the 29th, 7 p.m. We'll be there. Can't wait to watch and support that team. So that does it for another episode of the Colin Thompson Show. Let's send it over to the Taylor Cummings interview.